On today's episode, we go over the Cubs and Giants series as we recap that. Also, the rule changes that MLB is implementing starting in 2023. But first, we evaluate some trades around the margins and more from Jed Hoyer. That's all coming up on today's episode.
Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Cubs. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. The Bears are 1-0.
I'm sorry. Wrong show.
Oh, I was rolling right into it. We apologize for that. Wrong show.
No, I'm
Wrong
sorry.
show.
I got overly into
Bears
it.
are 1-0. Oh, I thought we were leading off with the Bears.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Hey,
As
everybody.
Wisniewski gets out of a mini jam in the sixth.
Thanks for joining us to start your week. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. I might have said that already, but pleased to be joining you here to kick off your week on a Monday, and it certainly is a pleasant Monday on the gridiron and on the baseball field. Certainly a lot to go over, but a rainy day here in the Chicagoland area. We hope to warm you up or keep you dry wherever you may be. Whatever you're doing to start off this week. So Cubs Giants this weekend. We're going to get into that later on. Also, the rule changes that have much been speculated about in Major League Baseball have officially been set in stone for next year and beyond. And so I look forward to that conversation as well. But first, Sam, as we look at some trades around the margins and maybe even some bigger trades, I know this weekend you were evaluating Jed Hoyer a bit, and we're going to bring it over to the show now.
Yeah. 2 minutes and 22 seconds without me getting a word in. That was tough. But I'm here. A couple of trades I want to just go over. So when you're looking in a rebuild situation and you find yourself not competing, which the Cubs are not doing this year, it's really important, I think, to win the small deals. Obviously, everybody knows you have to hit home runs on the big deals, right? Suzuki has to work out. Stroman has to work out. Somebody in the Bryant deal, the Rizzo deal, the Baez deal, those have to work out. Where I'm a little bit concerned, and I don't think it's a big deal yet, but I just think it's something to keep an eye on because we've talked about Ricketts. We've talked about a lot about David Ross. I don't think we've talked a ton about Jed. And there's some small deals that could really speed this process up and get the Cubs contending faster if they win and win significantly on. And when you look at Chris Martin for Zach McKinstry, and on the surface, like you said to me on the phone today, well, you like that deal. Well, yeah, I'm paid to make an initial call on these things. Jed Hoyer's paid to see if it works out. Zach McKinstry, ironically, is having a good game tonight, but the odds are he's not going to be on the team next year, and Chris Martin's going to be probably pitching in a World Series. Jesse Chavez for Sean Newcomb. Not a big deal. It's not significant, but eventually you'd like to be on the winning end of those deals. Jesse Chavez is pitching important innings for the Atlanta Braves. Sean Newcomb's not going to be in this organization next year. Jonathan and then like you mentioned, little signings. Jonathan Villar, complete F signing. Andrelton Simmons, complete F signing. The Miley thing, I'll give him a pass for because he was injured. But Daniel Norris, a complete waste of an acquisition. These things, at some point, you'd like the trend to change because even when you're good, when you become a good team, those little acquisitions tend to be the difference.
Oh, totally. And Norris, Simmons, and VR are all designated for assignment.
They're Fs. I mean, they're F. Like, it's not like, oh, this has gone poorly. Sean Newcomb, Daniel Norris, Jonathan Villar, Andrelton Simmons, and Zach McKinstry, those 5 names have been absolute zeros and may not be on your team next year. And you either signed them in free agency last year or traded for them.
Yeah, I didn't have as strong of a feeling when you floated this idea, but I think then when you position it to the following season, where you were attracted to these pieces because you have them for multiple more years of control, and then you realize they might be knocked off the 40-man by Thanksgiving or whatever it is.
Right.
That's when it becomes impactful. Because, yeah, I get Chris Martin was a rental. I get Jesse Chavez had an awful first couple outings this year, which feels like a millennium ago.
Right.
But so, and then you brought in a couple players to, wedge the gap. And probably at the end of the day, I'm not as hard as Jed on that. But if that's going to be your track record, and one of the areas that we've established is going to be difficult going into the year is to improve on the margins, then you have to do that with some achievement.
And my point isn't that this is a big deal. My point is that if you want to jump up to high 80s wins next year, you have to win on those deals because you're probably going to sign a really cheap center fielder. You need him to be above his pay grade. Like, for example, Drew Smyly. You need more Drew Smileys. You need more cheap one-year deals. You give a guy a chance to, and he ends up being great. Harold Ramirez is another one. That didn't work out for whatever reason, and he is now an integral part of a Rays team that has a chance to go deep into October.
Yeah, I was doing some homework on that. Harold Ramirez, when he was traded to the Rays, he was acquired by the Guardians only a few months before that. He had some visa issues entering spring training, but actually when they traded him, he had arrived.
Yeah.
He had only been there a couple days, but he did arrive. And
they trade him for cash.
The narrative at the time, it was actually a minor league outfielder.
Okay.
But who is an older outfielder. I don't know where he is now.
Yeah.
But the narrative at the time by the Cubs people was, Cubs media, I should say, or Cubs blogs as well, was, oh, well, now some of the position player situation is decluttered. Well, in a year like this, didn't you want as much potential major league talent as possible and then just figure it out when you can? Because in some of those paragraphs was Clint Frazier and
not on the team.
Yeah, these people who aren't even around.
Michael Hermosillo, not on the team.
Hermosillo, Ortega.
Right. Yeah, like these guys, that's my point. Like at some point to speed up this process, and by the way, Nico Horner left tonight's game due to right triceps tightness. Not good.
Oh, wow.
A lot of these moves, were just total Fs. Like Michael Hermosillo did not contribute to this team at all. VR, Frazier, none of these guys contributed. And to your point, you got rid of a guy like Harold Ramirez for it. Did it matter in terms of this season? No. But that process is going to have to start to change, and you're going to have to start winning on those moves where we say, hey, man, can you believe they got so-and-so for so-and-so? And this guy's hitting fifth with an 820 OPS and playing good defense. At some point, as Morel lines base hit, you have to hit on those. And my point is that this year they were pretty far off on most of those deals.
Yeah. And I don't want to excuse Hoyer because also of the financial commitment, by the way. VR and Simmons were not cheap signings.
Yeah, relatively so, sure, yeah.
But that's $10 million, though.
Yeah, you could have taken that $10 million and dusted your floor and had more of an asset.
Right. Yeah. I could have remodeled my kitchen.
Yeah, no. Whoa, no, listen. No, you make a great point. Those are strikeouts. You could have signed somebody on a 2-year
strikeouts looking, by the way.
And you could have signed
3 pitches.
You could have signed somebody on a 2-year, $5 million deal that could help your club next year. Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, no. Right. So I just wanted to make that point. I was thinking what reminded me of it is I was home last night by myself, Saturday night, and I was watching the Braves Mariners tilt, and I saw Jesse Chavez. I saw Jesse Chavez come in with these numbers, and it just made me do some research, and I came to the conclusion that these deals, like you describe it perfectly, on the margins, they may not be, they're not the centerpieces, they're on the fringes.
Yeah.
They're really important too, and the Cubs need to start flipping that.
Well, and I think as we've kind of rewound the tape too to some of the uber successful Cubs teams as we have within the last week, how many guys on the margins made a big difference?
Oh, a lot.
Mike Montgomery. It was huge.
Remember Mike Montgomery? I believe he got the last out to win the Cubs' first World Series in 108 years. I remember him.
Acquired for Dan Vogelbach.
Yeah. That deal didn't raise a lot of eyebrows at the time. I was like, oh yeah, Cubs got a lefty reliever, whatever. Well, maybe if it's somebody else maybe if it's somebody else pitching, we don't win a championship. I don't know. These things matter.
Absolutely.
Lackey was a small deal. There's plenty of examples. Montero. Anyway.
So Simmons and Villar and the like are looking for jobs. And as you gear up for the fall, you need the right people on your team to help your small business fire on all cylinders. LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a job post in minutes for free on LinkedIn to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 800 million people. Then add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people. There's simple tools like screening questions, making it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience. You can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonmlb. That's linkedin.com/lockedonmlb to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, Sam, Cubs-Giants series recap. And as we are recording live, we do want to let you know that the Cubs and Giants are still in action on the third game of the series on Sunday Night Baseball, in a close one. They did have a clunker on Saturday, and they actually had a really big win from my side of the glass on Friday. So where do you want to start here? Because there's some notables.
Where do you want to start?
Well, I'd like to go in order if we could.
Yeah, remind me of Friday's game.
That's going to be future Cub Carlos Rodon taking the mound for the Giants.
Oh yeah, Gomes and Horner played long
Yan
ball.
Gomes had a career day.
Yeah,
he had a good end to his week, and Drew Smiley was fantastic again.
Right.
At one point had a one-hitter, and it was a very quick ball game. It was about a 2.5-hour game.
Why'd they start that game with 3:05 as opposed to 1:20?
I don't know officially. I was looking at the schedule.
Yeah.
I thought maybe the 3:05 tilts would be the rest of the way on Fridays. But just this Friday coming up is 1:20 again. So I have no idea.
It just makes it's so hard to hit at that start time because you're dealing with the shades the entire game.
Yeah. Is it maybe because the Giants were traveling from the West Coast? I'm really not sure.
Maybe. Yeah, they played a doubleheader the day before in Milwaukee. That could be what it is.
So maybe that's why then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought, against a big name pitcher, they actually grinded out a win. And Manny Rodriguez, was in relief in that game, and
yeah, it was a good win.
Brandon Hughes, so it was solid stuff all around. And then Saturday I had a little bit of a buffer between some things I was doing and
Iowa football, huh?
Well, yeah, prior to Iowa losing a game to Iowa State, in which they again scored 7 points. They did score a touchdown this time, but that was it.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm just going to stop myself there because this isn't a football show.
No.
But I get in my seat. I'm trying to enjoy probably about the first hour of the Cubs game, right?
Sure.
Cubs take an early lead. Happ doubles in Horner.
Yeah,
fantastic. I'd like to see that.
Very tough pitcher, Logan Webb.
Right. Next half inning, Stroman gives up 4.
Sure.
And so that ruined that buffer in my day, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think the only thing I could really take away from that's this weekend really before tonight is Stroman's, it's probably a fluke, but he's just pitched terrible at Wrigley Field. He's been amazing away. I think his ERA at Wrigley Field is like something crazy, like 7, close to it.
It's hovering, yeah. 7 or 8.
Yeah, and as Wisniewski gives up a solo home run to Estrada, the Giants now lead 2-1, top 7.
All right. Well, he's not going to go scoreless his whole career.
I know. I just, I still got that, that fire.
I'm not saying you don't, but
so he's gonna be
Zneski throws a lot of strikes, though. I've noticed
he's gonna be a big part of this team next year, Stroman, and he's gonna start a lot of ball games at Wrigley Field. So he's got to figure that out. My guess it's just a statistical anomaly, and he'll be fine. But when you look at his bad starts this year, only one blow up has come on the road. That was at Coors. He's had brutal at home against St. Louis. Twice bad at home against St. Louis, bad at home against San Fran. There's another, bad at home against Tampa. So you want
Washington, I was there for that.
You want to get him settled there at Wrigley Field, which I think you will. So I don't know. I don't really think there's much to take from that. Nico Horner, unfortunately, got injured tonight, had a really nice weekend hitting the baseball, slapping around, and he was 2 for 2 in tonight's affair.
Well, and he's a reason why to obviously a huge reason why to watch these last 20-ish games.
Right.
So I'll be crossing my fingers to get that news tomorrow.
I'll tell you, if he's out, I'm going to be watching that game and drinking coffee. You know what I mean? Staying away.
Right. Yeah. No, it'd be unfortunate if that was serious.
Ortega in the 3-hole.
Maybe he just misses a series or something like that. Arm
issue's not good.
Ortega batted second Sunday night.
I'm aware.
It was a McKinstry-Ortega combo, not exactly, Berkman and Biggio and Berkman 1-2. But
yeah, nothing could ruin my day. The Chicago Bear football team's 1-0, so I'm not going to let her.
Yeah, you were pretty excited about that, huh?
Pretty excited means I ran around my complex in the rain shirtless. Then yeah, I was pretty excited.
Jeez. All right. Hey, listen, man.
To each his own. I don't get a lot of successes in life. And when I do, people like to say, hey, Sam, you're super pessimistic about the Cubs. Well, yeah. Have you watched the team this year? When things are positive, there's nobody more upbeat than me.
Right. And
live and die by this club.
I'm going to negotiate this week to maybe Sam and I dropping in on Locked On Bears every now and then after games.
All right.
We'll see how that goes at the table.
Come on, put him away, Wisniewski.
So as we keep an eye on what's happening in this last game, Sam, Nick Madrigal went to the IL with a groin strain to his opposite groin.
No, that's not
very
good.
Concerning.
No, it's really concerning.
No, it's really bad, actually.
And I say this.
He won't play the rest of the year.
I say this, and I don't mean this as a dig. It's going to sound like a dig. I don't mean it as a personal dig. He's not a good enough player to be dealing with this stuff. Part of his value, if he's going to be on this team, he has to stay healthy. He is not. His production is day in, day out, grinding at bats. He's one of those guys over the total course of the year. He helps you out. He cannot be a type of guy that's just in and out of the lineup. He just can't. And if he can't stay healthy, it's a real concern for him going forward. And I would even go as far as to say it's going to impact what the Cubs do this offseason, because, if they can't pencil him in at second base every day, that makes it all the more reason why they go out and get one of these free agent shortstops, because, he was better since he came back, but even he talked about how brutal it was coming back from his injury. And it's like, now you're hurt again.
No, it's disappointing. And then the Cubs travel to the Big Apple.
Did they face anybody good in that series?
Yeah, I actually have the matchups right here. I always enjoy revealing these on the program. It's going to be Assad versus Bassett.
Sure, that's going to be a lot.
Sampson versus DeGrom.
I don't think they're going to win that ball game.
And Smiley versus Peterson.
Maybe they can get that. They can get that one. They can get that one. They can get that one.
Jacob DeGrom is one of the best pitchers of our generation. And it's close.
I think last time the Cubs were in the Big Apple, DeGrom struck out the first 9 he faced and then got hurt or something.
Yeah, I'd have to look at my records, but
it was something like that, or 8 of the first 9, and then his shoulder was barking. It's like, great. What would he have done if his shoulder was healthy? He struck out every hitter.
He would have struck out 21.
I don't like that Ortega DeGrom matchup.
All right, so Cubs Mets, we'll definitely discuss that on episodes this week, and and more. And speaking of more, we're going to get into rule changes that MLB announced over the weekend, and we're going to reveal those to you, inform the people, do some analysis of that as well, and that's all coming up next. All right, we're back here on Locked On Cubs. Your first listen every day. Thanks for joining us for a Monday episode. The implementation of the pitch clock, restrictions on defensive shifting, and larger bases are en route to Major League Baseball. My biggest thing here is definitely the pace of play piece that actually Theo Epstein, who's already been mentioned on, or I don't know if I mentioned him. I mentioned
we heard
him
of him.
I mentioned him on a phone call with you. I thought maybe I mentioned him on this show. But yeah, if you forgot his name, there it is again. He's actually been highly involved with the pitch clock stuff.
Great.
MLB pitchers starting next year will have 20 seconds to begin their throwing motion with runners on base and 15 to pitch with the bases empty. According to MLB, the average time of minor league games, which have implemented these rules, went from 3 hours, 4 minutes in 2021 to 2 hours, 38 this year. So that's really significant.
I don't. The only thing that is interesting to me is the shifting stuff and how it affects my baseball team. The pace of play stuff, with all due respect, I think is crap. I watch college.
Say it
football.
Louder.
I watched college football this weekend. I watched the Illini defeat Virginia. The first half took 2.5 hours.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I am serious. Injuries.
Just 2 quarters of football?
Yeah, because what's happening is they're running so much no huddle, so they're getting so many more plays in little time. It's taking so long. People just don't like baseball anymore, and that's their excuse. Oh, it takes too long. No, it's just the fact that it's not nonstop action, because football takes just as long, but you just have nonstop action. I'm a traditionalist. It doesn't matter to me. I'm fine with how long baseball takes. The shifting stuff's interesting to me only because of how it affects the baseball team that I live and die for, which is the Chicago Cubs. And so I thought about it. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. The Brewers shift a lot. I think Ian Happ obviously will benefit, as he's our only real pull-heavy lefty, because Ortega will not be on this roster. But I wonder how it's going to affect, like the Cubs. Madrigal, Horner make a lot of contact, hit the ball on the ground a lot. Maybe there'll be a little bit more room for those guys, because you won't be able to play that extra guy on that other side. Although Horner gets most of his base hits to right field anyway. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. As in terms of Stroman and Hendricks, those guys get a lot of ground balls, so they might have to adjust the way they pitch. Okay, I'm not going to be able to have a guy behind me this time. So that'll be interesting to see how they adjust. I think it's obviously going to benefit the guys like Joey Gallo and Rizzo and Schwarber, the big bashers that pull the ball. The Cubs don't really have much of that, so it'll be interesting to see how they adjust. I think the league will find a way, though, to adjust and still shift just in a way that's within the rules. But I'm okay with that. The pitchers just have such a huge advantage with the spin rate and the gripping and just the pure stuff that they have. I think the hitters need a little bit of an advantage, and hopefully we'll see some more hits and the bigger bases thing. Okay, I'm fine with that too.
It's weird.
It's weird. I don't love changing a sport that's been the same
necessary
for 100+ years. But again, over 100+ years, you didn't have guys throwing 100 miles an hour with this 3,000 RPM stuff. And, it has made the game a lot more. There's just a lot less action. It's strikeouts, it's walks, it's home runs. And, maybe this will bring a little more to that. But all I care about is the Cubs, really. So, and I don't think they're going to really benefit much. Hopefully they won't be hurt from it much and move on. Pace of the play's fine. Watch Wade Miley throw.
Yeah, no, he's very fast. He's shades of Mark Burley, dare I say, especially since he's left-handed. But we'll see. I think that was actually really good Cubs perspective. When you talk about handedness, especially left-handed hitters.
We don't have any left-handed hitters.
I like that the
besides Happ.
I like that the middle of the field is open now. But it's part of the game. I mean, if the information is there, then I guess the old adage is, well, the hitters should adjust. But, it's always layered.
I'd like to get more guys on the roster that hit the ball over the fence.
Right. And then we don't have to worry about guys on the infield.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about shifting when you hit one down
Right.
Kenmore Ave.
Right. Well, it's going to be the 1-0 Bears traveling to the frozen tundra next weekend as the 1-0 Bears take on the 0-1 Packers. And
Who do
we'll
the Cubs
definitely
play? Who do the Cubs play this weekend?
So it's going to be Mets Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then it's going to be an off day. Then it's going to be the Rockies
Oh, at Wrigley.
at Wrigley. Right.
Yeah, right.
The Rockies are without Chris Bryant, I do believe.
And it's been a shock when they've had him. And we will have a show during the offseason dissecting Anthony Rizzo, Javier Baez, and Chris Bryant's campaigns this year.
Oh, without question.
And it's not going to be pretty. I know Rizzo hit some early home runs at Yankee Stadium where, I could throw one out to right field. And, he's since been on the IL and hitting for a low batting average, and we know the rest. So Gomes just made it out.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button for Locked On Cubs on YouTube and smash the like button on all your favorite Cubs content, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your pods. And remember, you can drop us a text as we continue to read some of those this week, 312-834-4634. Thanks for making Locked On Cubs your first listen every day. Now make your second listen, the Locked On MLB podcast. Paul Francis Sullivan brings humor, passion, unique perspective on every team and the biggest stories around the league. For Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.